amount of teams that come in the Champions League night trying to sneak a point away from home, not good enough for PSV. So that gives us great hope for excitement.
Well, our referee Daniel Siebert from Germany gets us underway with PSV attacking the Gallagate end. So they are playing from left to right as we look, as that was not the best of clearances by Pope, didn't get any elevation whatsoever, and eventually Schouten, the captain, will play it out to Sildilia on this near side, quickly closed down by Gordon, and puts sufficient pressure on him to make sure that Newcastle will get a throw.
You talk about Gordon, and it's amazing the amount of work he puts in every single game. So much so that we're about an hour gone, there's usually nothing left. You sometimes wonder about Anthony Gordon, can you just take a wee rest now and again and leave something for the end?
Guimaraes has been dispossessed on that far side, the vastly experienced Croatian. Ivan Perisic will get the ball, and all of a sudden they will attack on that far side. Salaradin back on this near side. This is Veerman, Schouten, the Dutch international, Gazarovski, and then eventually it is Sildilia, the right back, who went into a central area to pass the ball all the way back to Matej Kovar, a Czech Republic international goalkeeper. Began his career actually in England with Manchester United. No appearances during his time at Old Trafford, but did have loans away at Swindon and Burton Albion. And now he is, after being signed in the summer by PSV, plying his trade in the Netherlands after being signed from Bayer Leverkusen. 0-0. Pope, all in purple, came back to him, and he had to hurriedly clear that ball out of play. Haven't settled really, Pope, with a couple of early touches for the England keeper.
Well, he hasn't, and neither of Newcastle, because you look at that PSV side, they are not lacking in confidence on the ball. They want to control the play, and even though they're playing away from home, it's Champions League, it's against a top Premier League side, they feel that they can dominate possession, and that's what we started the game doing. It's only a couple of minutes old, but you can see that's how they want to play.
And the Newcastle supporters also are just trying to, at the minute, out-chant the very vociferous support from Eindhoven that has made that short hop across the North Sea. Back it goes to Pope, away towards our right. Botman, Hall, PSV though are quick to close Newcastle down. Hall gets away from that challenge, stumbles a little bit but keeps hold of the ball. Joel Linton, but they are aggressive in the press, aren't they, PSV?
They are, and we'll see how long they can keep it up for. They look to me as if they're a type of team that feels as if they keep on doing that, but well played out there. And young Hall, absolutely magnificent on the ball for a full-back.
Tonali was being held by Mauro Junior, Brazilian. I say defender, he can also play in midfield, he can also play at left back. He's extremely versatile, he has been integral to their success. They've won the title in the Netherlands on the last 2 seasons. As Perisic will come forward for PSV, makes good headway down that far side to left. Did a very good start from the Dutch champions, but his cross is stopped by Chow, who has to turn, stumbles a little bit and puts it out of play for a throw.
Don't know if you noticed that Perisic's got the ball, and it was right beside Bruno Guimaraes. He took 5 yards off him, over about 3 yards. It was 30 yards. I mean, it's actually incredible when you look at Bruno, how he's actually been affected by, slowing down a little bit because of the amount of work he's been asked to do.
That's Ivan Perisic, 150 caps for Croatia. Only Luka Modric has been capped more for his country, but he's 36 years of age. Wouldn't necessarily say he's in the twilight years of his career. He's a veteran, I guess, when you're at 36, from a playing point of view, but didn't look much of a slouch.
No,
there,
he didn't. He absolutely flew by Bruno Guimaraes there, which absolutely surprising because it was Perisic, but whatever the diet is in Croatia, I want to have some of it. I mean, Modric, they look amazing.
You and me both. Talking of which, he'll hope that tonight's appearance at St James's Park is better than the one that he had in April 2023 when he was with Tottenham, because Tottenham Hotspur that particular day were 5 down after 21 minutes, and they ultimately lost by 6 goals to 1. It's 0-0 here, but there was Wissa pressing on Gazarovski. The Spanish defender was forced to concede a throw, and Newcastle's first real venture into PSV territory produces a throw on the right-hand side. They're attacking the Leazes end, for those of you who know St James's Park. Trippier level the penalty area. Infield. They try and look for Wissa. Out it goes then towards Trippier. Delivers the cross. Joel Linton with a header. Falls to Gordon on the volley. left-footed first time over the crossbar goal kick. Listen to the Geordie roar, 0-0.
Yeah, you notice Wissa closing down there, but the press was actually started by Anthony Gordon once again, and that slightly panicked that back line there. And the pace you've got from Gordon on Wissa as well, if they can go at that pace and close down at that pace, they'll get a little bit of joy from that, I have no doubt.
Thankfully the rain has abated. A poor old engineer, Mark Ward, when he arrived at Anchorage Sykes, our producer, set up our equipment in the teeming rain. They were like drowned rats as they made their way into the press room. When I arrived, I did say, do you want a hand? And they said no, and then I made a hasty retreat.
You did. You didn't even bring a brolly.
But it is dry for the time being. It is 0-0. How's it has started in the south of France? John Akers.
Crackling atmosphere at the Stade Velodrome. Marseille 0, Liverpool 0. 4 minutes of the game gone. Liverpool passing it around nicely and have made the better start. Marseille 0, Liverpool 0.
Newcastle under pressure to get points, as are Chelsea, as Joe Linton dispossesses Gazarovski, looks for the supporting run of Bruno Guimaraes. It goes out of play for a throw. There's an argument to suggest, John Southall, that Chelsea might need 2 wins.
Absolutely, with Napoli to come next, you suspect they might need to win both games. It's Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. They had all the possession in these opening 5 minutes. Also, free kick on the left-hand side. Reece James took it. Poor free kick, cleared at the near post. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Thanks, John. Don't forget the Marseille-Liverpool game is available via Sports Extra if you wish to listen to that. But here we are, 5 Live Sport. We're also available on the red button, the iPlayer, and the BBC Sport website and app, as Tonali came under pressure in the midfield from Mauro Junior, but our German referee has given a free kick to Newcastle. Pat.
Do you know, Eddie Howe was talking before the game about the unusual way that PSV play, unusual and different ideas. Well, quite often when teams play out for the back, they usually have 3 at the back and one of the full-backs goes into the middle. That's not what PSV do. They just keep 2 at the back with the ball with the goalkeeper. And I think Eddie Howe thinks that's a weakness. That's why he's making sure there's 2, closing those 2 down very, very quickly indeed. They've almost got some capital out of it already. Twice they've nearly caught the PSV defence with that really high close 2-on-2.
And with that in mind, you can see why Wissa is preferred to Voltemar.
Exactly, precisely why he's there.
That's Pat Nevin, as always, offering his wise insight here on 5 Live as Newcastle give the ball away again in the middle of the field. Ball is played back by Salaradine, cleared by Kovar, goes straight to Guimaraes, early ball to Joel Linton, he's onside, Joel Linton in the area to Wissa, Newcastle score! The flag stays down, that's just what the start that Newcastle wanted, and Wissa with a goal. Newcastle United inside 8 minutes are ahead, 1-0.
We were just talking about what Eddie Howe was trying to do. He was trying to put a little bit of pressure on them when they were trying to play out for the back, and they did. They put enough pressure on them. This time the goalkeeper panicked and he just lumped it anywhere, but he didn't get enough purchase on it, and when Newcastle got it in that midfield, they had an advantage. I was very, very impressed with Joe Linton there. Thought he was going to go for a shot, played the intelligent ball. Wissa had nothing more than a tap in. Superb by Newcastle, well done.
And the early ball as well from Guimaraes. He sensed that opportunity, didn't he?
And you can tell, looking down at Eddie Howe in front of us here, he's got a look of a man who said, yep, saw that one coming. I knew it was happening there. We set that little trap up and it's worked a treat for them. And you see the PSV players, there's a kind of, look at all the shoulders are all down as if we weren't ready for that. Our plans are they're being taken apart already.
In the live league table, that scoreline now means that Newcastle sit it currently, they've gone from 13th to 7th. The top 8 would automatically qualify for the last 16. That's why the victory here tonight was so important. There's a stoppage in play, however.
There's definitely checking for offside. I must admit, we're not in a great angle for it, but I thought the offside, but the ball played to Wissa. I wonder why we haven't got
the ball was placed on the centre circle. They were ready for the restart, and then Bastian Dankert, who is the VAR official, has indicated to Daniel Siebert, the referee, that he needs to look at the monitor.
Well, it can't be offside because they'd be able to tell then, surely. I hope we've not got another 6-minute here.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, which happened here last time in the Manchester City game. We've had a look at it, the referee says
the goal stands. It was interesting there, by the way, that Voltemade was used as the translator to have a word with Daniel Schlager, the fourth official, just to have that bit of a check with the foot to make sure what it was. But Daniel Siebert, the man in the middle, is happy. I've got to say, the first thing I did when the ball was played forward, Joel Linton was definitely onside.
Yeah, it was pass into Visser was one I would have been concerned about, but we're getting on it here, so you can't really tell. But hey, we trust them. It didn't take 6 minutes. 1-0. Yeah. Well done, Newcastle United, because they've obviously planned that, and it's worked a treat so far.
So Newcastle are ahead. Johan Wissa with the goal, his third goal. He actually had gone 5 games without in his 13th appearance since he arrived from Brentford. Of course, he did have to bide his time after injury and to get up to speed. But certainly that team selection decision from Eddie Howe has been vindicated, as he actually now shares a joke with Daniel Schlager.
You've got to be delighted with your manager when you make one big call. It clearly comes off within the first 10 minutes. Not just two big calls. One big call to play Visser in that position. The second one, the system they played there and the way they closed down there, it's worked a treat. And I suspect PSV have to think, can we keep on doing that? Because they keep on doing that, you see that they give goals away. They'll get goals, they'll get chances. But, you know, we expected goals, we expected chances in this game. It ain't finished, there's more to come.
So they've taken the lead after 8 minutes. And think back to Molineux in that dour draw at Molineux at the weekend. They didn't actually have a shot on target, Newcastle, until the 85th minute. They haven't scored in their last 2 games as Kovar goes long and direct. And actually it was Denis Marn and Ivan Perisic who were actually running for the same ball. They got in each other's way, and Newcastle United are able to clear through Trippier. His forward ball is blocked back towards the corner flag, deep in his own half, to Pope, who gets plenty of distance on that. Headed forward then by Anas Salahuddin, the Moroccan international. And then this is Veerman in the midfield, who will pass the ball back to Mathieu Kovar, who'll be ruining his poor clearance that led to the goal.
Yeah, but what option did he have? You know, he's expecting to play it for the back. There's no option to do that just now because they've been closed up so high. So he has just launched it, but you're right, he is ruining the fact that he didn't get anywhere near enough height and distance on it.
There was an upset last night, Bodo Glimt beating Manchester City as Perisic comes forward, delivers a good cross and requires Botman to head the ball away before it could get towards Teal. There could be another upset, not necessarily in the same bracket as the Arctic Circle as last night, but Slavia Prague, who are yet to win in this year's competition, are leading Barcelona by a 0-0. A Barcelona side that at the start of play were 15th in the table, and at 10 points themselves, not guaranteed a place in the playoffs.
No, they absolutely was glad to get at least a point out of that one to give themselves a chance for the last game. But it's one of the things about, you know, the way they've changed the Champions League. You wondered if it would leave dull games at the end. Actually, most of the games have got something to play for, so it tends to work. Well, it has so far.
Yeah. But Marn comes forward. Tonali will run back with the remaining international, but he makes good ground on this near side, the right. Tonali has stayed with him. Marn keeps the ball in play. No, he doesn't. It'll be a goal kick. We'll nib off to Stoke. It's another 8 o'clock kickoff. It's in the Championship. Middlesbrough looking to go back ahead of Ipswich at the top. Lee Blakeman.
Stoke have started the better of the two teams, Ian. Stoke 0, Middlesbrough 0. Stoke with a chance a few moments ago. Thomas, their top scorer, with the ball in from the left. Cisse waiting for the tap in 4 yards out, but it was Malander who was there to put the ball behind for a corner. Stoke 0, Middlesbrough 0.
That's one of 3 games in the Championship. Watford 0, Portsmouth 0, and Southampton, 7 without a win in the Championship, are leading Sheffield United by a 0-0 at St Mary's. The 2 results in the Champions League earlier: Galatasaray 1, Atletico Madrid 1, and Karabag 3, Eintracht Frankfurt 2. Karabag go to Anfield next Wednesday for the final set of matches in the league phase. PSV trailing by a 0-0 here at St James's Park on a blustery night on Tyneside, as Peter Bosz, the bald-headed coach with his light brown puffer jacket, just applauds as his team advance downfield. Pat Nevin.
Intriguing the way they were slightly panicked for a wee while, PSV, but they've kind of found their mojo again. They're passing the ball well, they've got the confidence back a little bit. One of the things that they're trying to do is they're trying to press really high up when there's goal kicks from Newcastle as well. And what it tends to leave is 4v4 when they play it long. And I think Eddie Howe likes that. I mean, Pope's on the ball just now. He's looking, and as I say that, number 17, Junior's come back. No, 4v4 right in front of us. So I suspect Pope's been expected to thump this long from goal kicks as often as he can.
That's Gordon on this near side, the left. Barnes is the one on the right. Joe Linton pushed up alongside Wissa. Barnes making a nuisance of himself, and it required Shoughton, the captain, to clatter the ball out of play for a throw over on that right-hand side that Newcastle want to take quickly. A goal at Stoke City, Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Stoke. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0. Thomas Rigo with the shot from 20 yards out. Squirmed under the dive of goalkeeper Solbrin, and that's gone with the run of play. Deserved lead for Stoke. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Middlesbrough, who'd won 2 of their last 3 games, and a point behind Ipswich as they are third at the top of the Championship, looking for that second automatic promotion spot behind the leaders, Coventry City. This is the Champions League. It's live on 5 Live, and Newcastle United are ahead on Sports Extra. It is currently Marseille 0, Liverpool 0, and there's no goals between Chelsea and Paphos at Stamford Bridge as PSV get a free kick midway through the Newcastle half.
And the style of the game's gone back to the way it was right at the start. PSV holding the ball well, pressing Newcastle. And Newcastle getting forward. Most of the time it is from set pieces. You know, some free kicks of their own, deep, played long, you know, sometimes goal kicks. Again, played long. It's almost as if Eddie Howe saying, yeah, have a little bit of the ball there. We can defend, but we're going to break quickly.
Well, Newcastle manager having his name chanted by the Newcastle supporters at yet another sellout crowd here at St James's Park, 52,000. He's in conversation at the moment with Jason Tindall. PSV have got a free kick. Veerman, midway through the Newcastle half, fractionally left of centre, stands over it, unless it's going to be whipped in by the left foot of Salah-Eddin, who's eyeing it up as well. Newcastle have got a line of black and white striped shirts on the edge of the penalty area. It will be left to Salah-Eddin. Veerman just with a decoy run. In fact, no, it will be Veerman who comes back and takes it, and Joe Linton pedalling back in his own half to head it away. Guimaraes battles for the ball, breaks away from him. Perisic with a cross, scuffed it somewhat from the left-hand side, and Guimaraes can clear the ball away long for Newcastle, who lead by a goal to 0.
And Guimaraes has gone down, and I just wonder, you know, I was talking about how he looked a little bit sluggish at the start of the game. And I don't know if it's a knock, but when you're that sluggish, you wonder, are you carrying some sort of injury? And he has gone straight down, he's flat on his back, spread eagled in the ground. Maybe he just wants a rest, but to be fair, you don't go down like that unless you've got a bit of an injury. So a little bit of a concern for Eddie Howe and Newcastle fans. He's up again now, but he is hobbling a bit.
Atalanta are leading Athletic Bilbao by a goal to 0 in Bergamo. 3 successive wins in the Champions League, and another one tonight would guarantee a top 8 finish for Atalanta. There, 1-0 up. Chelsea Paphos, John Southall.
It's Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, but Chelsea have just had a goal disallowed. Enzo Fernandez at the back post with the header, but deemed to have pushed the defender Sima while scoring. Disallowed. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
That defeat for Chelsea actually at Atalanta could prove costly, couldn't it, for them?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the time you thought, oh, there's plenty to go, but I've great belief that Chelsea can win this one, and that will get them safely, I would suspect, into the playoffs.
Just notice as well, it's the former West Ham striker Gianluca Scamacca who's got that goal, as here is Gordon. Newcastle already leading by a goal to 0, but Gordon loses it. Joe Linton tries to win it back, helped out by Gordon and then Tonali, who then actually passes the ball towards Thiel, who can run forward for PSV on this right-hand side. His low cross, though, is towards Chow, and then Botman eventually clears it. Bouncing ball headed forward by Shoughton, flicked on then by Maro Junior, and eventually it will be Hall in his left back, who's closed down by Thiel, who will get a goal kick. So Newcastle are 1-0 up. We've heard from Chelsea. This commentary on Sports Extra of Marseille-Liverpool. The latest from John Akers.
Marseille 0, Liverpool 0, 17 minutes of the game gone. It's not really got going yet. Liverpool have just won a corner. Joe Gomez headed wide from the last one, although there was an infringement in the penalty area. And Marseille do look a threat on the break. They've scored 22 in their last 6. It's Marseille 0, Liverpool 0.
Tomorrow night we've got more European action for you on Sports Extra. Bologna Celtic at 5:45 in the Europa League, followed by Rangers against Ludogorets at 8. This is the Champions League, as it is Barnes Thought that might have gone out for a throw, who'd looked to try and put pressure on Salah-Eddin, but it cannoned away off the legs of the former Leicester City player, and it's gone out for a goal kick to PSV. We've been playing for 20 minutes.
It's very noticeable that Newcastle are not controlling this game. They're 1-0 up, yeah, and they look dangerous every time they break. The tactics have looked good for them so far, but in terms of control of the game, this PSV side, they look very, very dangerous to me, and certainly in the midfield, they've got so much energy that I think Newcastle midfield are finding it tough.
I do think that one goal won't be enough for Newcastle United tonight. When you look at the record of PSV, they've scored in each of their last 12 Champions League games since they were beaten by Brest in December 2024. So they've got a habit of finding the net, and they do have this formidable away record. As a stumble by Trippier, Maro Jr. passes the ball out wide. Perisic with a cross from the left-hand side, gathered in by Nick Pope. Arsenal, Manchester United in the Women's League Cup semi-final. Paul Gilmore.
Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1. Arsenal responding well to falling behind to that Turlin goal in first half stoppage time. Manham shot over Russo, swept wide, but they have yet to find an equaliser. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1.
Goes out for a PSV throw on that far side. The other semi, well, the last we heard from Katie Smith, Chelsea were ahead.
And they still are. City 0, Chelsea 1, but City getting ever so close to that equaliser. They've hit the post again through Kirsten Kasparov. Lauren Hemp creating all sorts of bother, and a lovely little link up just now between Hasegawa playing Miedemar in behind. A brilliant save from Hannah Hampton. City 0, Chelsea 1.
Champions League here on 5 Live with updates in all the different competitions up and down the country. Barnes is tripped. Free kick for Newcastle midway through the PSV half on the right. Yeah,
Barnes getting on the ball, taking on his man for the first time, and he looks really comfortable. I think he's more comfortable on the left. I think he looks much, much better. But considering that Anthony Gordon over that left side has got that position sewn up, Barnes has to stay right. He's not bad there, but he's not quite got as good a understanding with Trippier as he did have with Livramento before him, I don't think.
Trippier to take the free kick, just in from the right touchline, fires this one in. Headed away though by Perisic. Trippier, those two of course contested that World Cup semi-final in Moscow in 2018. Indeed, it was Trippier that gave England the lead, and it was Perisic, wasn't it, who equalised for Croatia. From memory, I've just had a flashback.
You feel comfortable in that strip because it looks like a Croatian away strip, doesn't it?
It does, with a little bit of the checkers going down the side and the red and white colours. As Tonali hits it deep inside the area, Botman gets it back from Chow. Two central defenders were combining, and on the half volley he's then hit it with the outside of his left boot off target for a goal kick, but it looked promising for a time. Into the Championship now to Vicarage Road, Andy Stevenson.
No goals, but a dramatic few moments just now. At one end, Portsmouth were certain James Abankwah had handballed it in the area, but referee Ben Toner waved away their appeals. And then on the breakaway, Watford's Otmane Marma burst into the box, put his shot wide. Watford 0, Portsmouth 0.
Still Newcastle United leading by a goal to 0. No goals in Marseille or at Stamford Bridge. Botman holding off the run of Thiel. Almost runs into the trouble in the shape of Marn. And then won back though by Sildilia, the right back. Here he is with his braided hair, looking for Marn, who scored a great goal against Napoli earlier in the competition when they beat Napoli 6-2. They have scored some excellent goals actually in this competition, and some impressive results to boot.
Yeah, I mean, he scored 4 against Liverpool at Anfield. That's not bad, is it? But that 6-2 game was really impressive because the way that they broke was actually stunning. They get so many players forward, there seemed such energy, and it kept on going for the entirety of the game. A lot of the goals were scored later on in that game, so there's no lack of energy on this side.
Certainly Newcastle, I think with the early goal would have helped settle a few nerves here on Tyneside as Barnes to Trippier, short pass out to the right. Guimaraes tries to help it on towards Barnes. It'll go out for a Newcastle throw. It was neatly worked down that far side, and Trippier wants to take this free kick quickly. He's not quite at the midway point of the PSV half as he goes back to Sven Botman, who last week signed that new deal to keep him at the club until 2030. A Dutch defender who Eddie Howe has been full of praise for, and along with Malik Chow, having to try and deal with matters because Kraft, Byrne, Asula, Murphy, Scher, Livramento and Lascelles are all out injured. So it's a squad that has certainly been stretched.
Yeah, particularly in that back line. The centre-backs are really pushed. If he loses another one at any point in this game, it'd be interesting to see what Eddie Howe does.
Guimaraes might just have caught Joey Veerman in the midfield. The referee is going to show a yellow card there for the Newcastle United captain. So Guimaraes is booked. Stoppage in play at St James's Park, and a goal in Marseille. John Akers.
And a goal for Liverpool. It's Ekitike. They're going to have a look at this. They could be ruled out for offside, but it's a great low cross from Szoboszlai, and there is Ekitike, near post, puts it in, but I think this could be ruled out for offside. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1 at the moment. We've got confirmation. It has been ruled out for offside.
So back at 0-0, commentary on Sports Extra. We don't get the chance, we've got no monitors to hear to see that again, but Veerman is clearly in a great deal of pain and is still down.
Absolutely. And when you see that happening, and the referee had a little word there with the assistant referee, who's the far side, who's a lot closer to it, as if to say, is there anything worse than a yellow card there? Is there something I've missed? No doubt it'll be VAR have a little bit of a look at it, but from here it looked like, a free kick, possible yellow card. Let's hope there's no more than that.
So the midfielder is down at the moment and still getting tended to. So back to 0-0 in Marseille. It remains 0-0 between Chelsea and Paphos. So only 3 goals in the games that kicked off at 8 o'clock in the Champions League. Atalanta 1-0 up against Athletic Bilbao, and Slavia Prague still leading Barcelona by a goal to 0. Any sign of a goal at Stamford Bridge, John?
Well, Chelsea still have all the possession. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. They've hardly ventured out of their own half, Paphos, but Chelsea just struggling to break them down at the moment. That one disallowed effort from Fernandes, but apart from that, not much. Chelsea have a corner. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Veerman's back on his feet, but judging by his reaction to the point that you just mentioned before, I think that he thinks it should have been more.
Yep, that's what he's complaining about, and he's certainly had a word with everyone he possibly can. It's a very, very painful one, and as we keep on saying, in a cold night like tonight, he'll have felt that one, but the referee's seen enough, and they obviously feel that, it would have to be something very serious for them to change his decision on the field.
So play is back underway, and I spoke too soon about it being dry, as spots of rain start to appear on the lenses of the glasses, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a complaint. I mean, we're very fortunate here in a brilliant position right above the dugouts, but it's one of the few places where the rain does come in, but we're not the only ones that are getting rained on. Yeah,
but I'm just looking to my right, and you're a wise man. You're wearing a baseball cap to shield your own glasses.
Exactly. Well thought through.
I only have a bucket hat which I carry for the sun, which I might have to delve into at one point, as Tonali, forward ball, stopped by Maro Jr., goes in search of it. Trippier releases it to Guimaraes. He runs into trouble into Salah-Ad-Din. Veerman clears it early towards Teal. Marn makes the run through the middle, stopped by Hall, got the ball in a well-timed challenge. Marn has stayed down. Guimaraes now looks for the early ball. Gazarovski heads it away, picked back up then by Schouten. And despite Marn staying down, Teal is actually going to stop and put the ball out of play to enable his teammate to get some treatment. So we'll go to Stoke and Lee Blakeman.
Stoke have just hit the crossbar with an absolute thunderbolt. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0. Million Man Huff back in the starting 11 tonight. Inside the D has just hit one with his left foot, and it's crashed against the crossbar. Middlesbrough, considering they can go second tonight, haven't created anything in the opening half hour. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0.
The ball's going to be knocked back to PSV, Pat.
Yeah, interesting that. And I did think that was a free kick for PSV, and obviously there's no doubt in my mind that Telford, they've done it again.
Wisser in towards Gordon, and another defensive mistake. Wisser so alert, and there was Gordon from close range. He cannot stop scoring in the Champions League. It is 6 goals in 7 Champions League this season, and Newcastle United have such an important cushion. 2-0
We talked right at the start of the game the fact that Eddie Howe would say to his team, right, they're going to play 2 against 2 when they play out. That's a dangerous game. He said that if you do weird things or unusual things, well, that's weird bordering on stupid. Because if you get players of the pace of Wissa, and obviously of Anthony Gordon too, if you make the slightest mistake, the slightest poor touch, they will be on you in a millisecond. That is exactly what's happened once again, and Newcastle won't score 2 easier goals this season. Nice easy tap in for Anthony Gordon, and that is nothing more than good tactics and good knowledge from the manager telling his players what to do.
That really was a gift for Gordon.
Absolutely. You can't believe how easy it was there. And again, they're all turning around the manager as if to say, yeah, you've obviously watched that. No, it's not just Eddie Howe, it's his backroom staff. They said, look, there's a weakness here. We have to profit for this weakness. Through the entirety of the game so far, I'm not sure Newcastle have been massively the better side. I'll tell you what, tactically they have.
Yeah. And now leading PSV by 2-0 here in the Champions League, and that is huge for Newcastle United. And both mistakes from PSV, the first by the goalkeeper Kobar, and then that second one where they were just caught out at the back, have been punished.
It is one of those classic ones. Everybody knows that there's more goals these days given away by trying to play out for the back, but that just looks stupid.
Here now is Barnes, right hand side. Salahuddin closes him down. Barnes runs on the inside. Little drag flick there by Guimaraes. Look for the continued run of Barnes, but PSV were alert to it on that occasion. Perisic has cleared it away downfield to Hall. Hall's header loops into the path of Joe Linton, couldn't control it. Shouting from the back, Hall wins it back. Newcastle now have their tails up. 2-0, and urged to keep going forward by this expectant crowd at St James's Park. Gordon on the left, level with the area. Hall has stayed in the attack. Hall appeals for handball more from the crowd than the players. Gordon now delivers the cross, it's a deep one, and curls all the way out of play for a goal kick. 2-0 though for Newcastle, 13 minutes remaining.
So what do you do if you're PSV? You've got a game plan. You always play it out for the back exactly the same way. You've done it twice, you're 2 goals down. Are you going to keep on doing the same thing? Look at it just now right in front of us. No. His keepers went, no, not doing it. We're going off the game plan, I'm just going to lump it. Good sense, but it's taken 2 goals for that good sense to come to fruition.
Well, the penny certainly had to drop on that occasion because Newcastle were primed. We'll go back to Stamford Bridge. John Southall.
Well, Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, but the first chance for the Cypriot side, Jar Jar into the penalty area. His shot deflected, could have gone anywhere, went inches wide of the left post, off the arm of Reece James. They wanted a penalty, Paphos. VAR looked at it, didn't give it. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
PSV are so uncertain at the back. That was Shoughton. The long ball had dropped out of the air, and as soon as he's touched it and controlled it, he's got Wissa breathing down his neck. And
they just are really panicking now. They're really, really edgy every time they get the ball because they know they've made mistakes. They know there's every chance that if they take any more mistakes, that's a terrible tackle that. Referee's got to go in his pocket there, surely, for a yellow card.
Well, that was Mauro Junior.
Well.
No, it wasn't. It was Sildilia, wasn't it, who's been shown the yellow card. So Sildilia, the right back, has been booked by the German referee, and that is the second yellow card of the game. Newcastle lead 2-0. Where will we go next on 5 Live? It's half-time at Vicarage Road. Andy Stevenson.
Where it's goalless, but Portsmouth have been the better side. They were screaming for a penalty on the half-hour mark when it looked like Watford defender James Abankwah touched a corner with his hand, but nothing given. At the other end, Luca Kiramgard diverted a Jeremy Ngaki across just over the bar. Watford 0, Portsmouth 0.
Southampton also at half-time are leading Sheffield United in the Championship. They're still playing in that 8 o'clock kick-off between Stoke City and Middlesbrough. Pat?
Do you know, you often look at coaches and teams who have a very dogmatic way of playing, and it doesn't matter if things go wrong, they keep on doing the same thing. And I always think it is really dim. I know you think, oh, our way's the way to do it, and there's 2 ways to do it, this way and do this way better. But it's such a mistake so far for PSV. They need to adapt.
Newcastle are attacking. Gordon, left-hand side of the area. Gordon towards the byline with a cutback. And there was shouting to turn the ball behind for a corner kick. Newcastle certainly looked sharp there.
Well, you said it, Ian. Tails up. That second goal, they realised they weren't going to get a lot of the ball in the midfield. Then they get the second goal, pressure's off, take your time, everybody wants the ball, real comfort, feel the edginess in the opposition as well. Everything in Newcastle's favour right now, 10 minutes before the break.
Corner kick then for Newcastle, attacking the Leazes end, playing from right to left. It's on this near side to left. It'll be an in-swinger from Trippier. In it comes now. The goalkeeper gets both hands to it, punches the ball away. Hall has got time to direct his header to the right corner of the area. Gordon with the cross. Gazarovski will head it away. It'll drop to Hall. Has to control it. A little bit caught under possession, but Wissa runs the long way around to keep it going for Newcastle and running forward. Left-hand side, Wissa with a left-footed cross. Kovar, the keeper, catches it and now looks for an early release out towards Perisic on that far side. Taken neatly off the chest, but there was his Trippier to clear the ball away. PSV with Perisic, the former Tottenham man, leaving it now for Veerman. His cross into the area. Chow with a header away, helped further away by Barnes with another header, and then lifted downfield by Guimaraes, but he's gone down again as Guimaraes.
I've thought that. Honestly, I've thought that right from the start of the game. He's not looked right to me.
No, he's just signalled he can't continue either, Pat.
And to be honest, I think he'd been taken off at half-time anyway, because he's on a yellow card. He wasn't quite up to the pace of the game, and I suspect he's like a lot of players, he's playing with an injury, but it's too much of an injury. He's so much slower than everyone else, and you'll get caught out if you do that. He's gone down again, and well, obviously they've got a ready-made replacement in Lewis Miley.
Well, they're playing 9 games in the month of January. It would be 8 if they're in the playoffs next month as well. So then you'd be looking at something like 17 games in a 55-day period. So that is intense amount of football. And Guimaraes, the game's coming up. Villa at home here on Sunday, live on 5 Live. Paris Saint-Germain away on Wednesday. Then they've got Liverpool away and Manchester City away. Into the Women's League Cup semi-final. Paul Gilmore watching Arsenal-Manchester United.
Well, Arsenal still putting a lot of pressure on Manchester United, who lead by 1-0. That despite the task being a little more difficult after that Olivia Smith's second yellow card. But yeah, still putting a lot of pressure on them. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1.
Barcelona have equalised in the Czech Republic. Slavia Prague 1, Barcelona 1. Chelsea Paphos, John Southall.
Still Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, but Chelsea have just upped the tempo. Caicedo, the shot 12 yards out, saved by Gorta. Ball was played back in, and there was Badiashile with a header just inches wide. You just sense the goal is coming. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Newcastle leading here 2-0. Liverpool thought they'd taken the lead, but it was disallowed. John Akers watching Marseille-Liverpool.
10 minutes to half-time, Marseille 0, Liverpool 0. Guiri's had a right foot shot saved by Alisson. It was quite smart, it was well struck, and Ekitike, that goal ruled out for offside. McAllister went close before that with a shot across the goalkeeper. Marseille 0, Liverpool 0.
Guimaraes is eventually on his feet after treatment. Manchester City, Chelsea in the Women's League Cup semis. Katie Smith.
City still pushing, but they've got 10 minutes left to play. City 0, Chelsea 1. Both keepers feeling it tonight. You've Mashita, great save from close range, near post from Lauren James, who's come on as a sub. And just after that, Hasegawa, volley from the D. A stunning save from Hannah Hampton once again. City 0, Chelsea 1.
The manner in which Bruno Guimaraes is heavily limping on that far side, I can't see him continuing.
Yeah, we give him every chance, you know. But he just looks to me like a guy who knows I'm not 100%. You know, there's such a danger if a player's not quite at his best and he's on a yellow card. All you need to do is one late challenge then. That's all you need, and the game could be totally turned on its head. So, big decision to make just now about Bruno Guimaraes.
He's still off the field of play, and it was interesting, the nous of Kieran Trippier, realising he was going to be off for at least 30 seconds, he brought everybody in and said to Newcastle to be tight and compact as PSV attack. Veerman with his shot, edge of the area. For all the talk about PSV, and they might have had some nice approach play, but there's been no end product from them.
Not so far, and they've been managed really well. I mean, that back line has stayed really steady, and the players you expect to create something, the full-backs have done well. You know, Trippier's done his man marking. Perisic, although a great player, he's not really going to get past Trippier there, so he's looking for space there. He's cheating a little bit, he's knocking back, he's not chasing back, he's hoping to get the ball in space, but they've not got good enough ball there. And on the left hand side, No, Hall's been absolutely fantastic. Man's not got a sniff from him so far.
Guimaraes is back on the field of play. Still not running freely, but he's trying to run it off. Newcastle leading by 2-0 against PSV Eindhoven here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Back it goes to the PSV goalkeeper Kovar, clears. Botman able to just drop it forward towards Joe Linton. His pass goes astray. Gordon, no, terrier-like, tries to win it back, and Newcastle actually benefit with a throw. The last touch coming from a rather bemused Dennis Mann.
Just watching Eddie Howe and everyone looking over at Bruno saying, can you carry on? What's the answer? And he's not given them a clear answer yet, other than hobbling.
I mean, he did indicate that he didn't want to continue, but you can see he's grimacing as we sit low down here.
He can't move at all.
Barnes shuffles the ball forward towards Wissa. Wissa looks for the return towards Barnes, but Gazarowski, the long-haired defender, turns and clears as he falls to the floor inside his own penalty area. 4 minutes to go to the break, and Newcastle United are leading PSV by 2-0. Still no goals between Chelsea and Paphos and Marseille and Liverpool, as now back it goes to Pope, all in purple outside the Davies penalty area. It was a wayward ball that Joe Linton couldn't control. Opportunity now maybe for PSV to come forward. It is with Veerman, who chips it out towards Perisic on that far side. He delivers the cross, but Botman, towering in the air, heads it away. Only as far as Veerman, who puts it back in. Mann will head it right-hand side of the penalty area. And then it's with Sildilia, back out towards Mann, making the run forward was Schouten. From the back, by the way, a central defender joining the attack on the right-hand side. But Newcastle now with Hall weaving his way out of trouble. He looks so comfortable on the ball, does Lewis Hall. Been a very impressive...
Exception, absolute exceptional. And when you look at international fullbacks, not been many as good with the ball at their feet.
And what is he? He's 21 years of age. He's certainly a real prospect for both club and country. Schouten to Gazarowski, 21 years of age himself, a Spanish central defender who they signed from Valencia in the summer. Veerman in the midfield, nowhere to go really, except backwards, edged back towards his own penalty area, and then his forward ball on the left, and Trippier is able to tidy that one up back towards Pope. Tonali's header goes over the head of Joel Linton, and PSV have it. 2.5 minutes to go to the break. John Southall at Stamford Bridge.
3 minutes to half-time, still Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. Chelsea being frustrated. Another chance for Caicedo, again denied by the Paphos keeper Gorta. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
PSV in possession. Sildilia the right back. Gordon in front of him, and it'll go out for a PSV throw. Hold on, there's a PSV player on the far side.
Yes, he has it. It's not Perisic, because he's
Saladin,
a little bit further.
the left back, who has just indicated that he's not in a position to continue. So he only made the 4 appearances for Morocco at the recent African Cup of Nations. He was a late substitute in the final against Senegal. He's on loan from Roma, the 23-year-old, but he's clearly indicated with the roll of the wrist that he wants to come off.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's the weirdest thing. I'm watching Bruno Guimaraes. Can't keep my eyes off him just now. He's said twice, take me off. And then when they've got a player ready to strip to go, he's went, oh, no, wait. He's done it twice now. And the manager keeps on shouting over, well, make your mind up. Yeah. And I think you probably have to wait till half-time. It's only a few minutes away.
Well, I just wonder if Peter Bosz is tempted to do the same as well. If Saladin was to come off, then Mauro Junior does have that option from midfield to revert to left back, and indeed they are going to make the change, and it is going to be Armando Obispo, who's a Curaçao international. He's going to be coming on to replace Saladin at left back, so they are not going to wait, are PSV. Barcelona have turned it around in the Czech Republic. 2 goals for Fermin Lopez. They now lead by 2-1. Slavia Prague 1, Barcelona 2. We're inside the last 30 seconds, and Saladin is going to be coming off and Obispo will be coming on.
It's interesting because Obispo usually plays centre-back, doesn't he? So I think he makes the centre-back, move one of the other centre-backs over to the left-back area. We'll see if that makes them look a bit tighter, that centre-back area, because they've not looked good there at all, PSV.
We'll find out how much stoppage time we're into.
6
minutes of stoppage time. Newcastle leading PSV 2-0, and Newcastle on the attack with Trippier. And over the halfway line on that far side. Plenty of black and white shirts to aim for. But it's cleared by Veerman up to Perisic, and as Trippier was forward, it required Chow to slot in and cover for the advancing right back.
Yeah, really comfortable play there. And right, okay, for updating Bruno, third time he's now asked to come off. He keeps on asking. I think imagine, look at Eddie Howe. It's like, honestly, it's pure theatre. Eddie's going, well, if I do it again, he'll just say no again.
But again, he's hobbling severely. As the cross comes in from the right, stopped and should be cleared by Botman. He gets it back to Gordon. Interception though by Sildilia on this near side. Botman's clearance was driven across towards Barnes, sliced up in the air by Gazarovski. I think it's Gazarovski actually who's gone in at left back, hasn't it?
Yep.
As you quite rightly said, Obispo now partnering Schouten at the heart of the PSV defence. Slavia Prague have equalised. Slavia Prague 2, Barcelona 2, and a Robert Lewandowski own goal has brought the Czech side level. Mann attacking on this near side, looks to go in between both Hall and Gordon, almost succeeds. Gordon plays it to Joe Linton, and he'll lay it out to this near side, and Hall will clear long for Newcastle United. And still shouting and crouching and barking out the orders is Eddie Howe, as here is Schouten infield towards Veerman, who drops deep. This is Mann. Was that little chuckle I noticed, was that nothing to do with Bruno?
Yes,
was it,
again,
by a matter
honestly,
of fact?
it's actually, I mean, it shouldn't be funny watching a player when he's limping, but he should have come off 10 minutes ago. It was obvious, but he's still on now.
Miley is now finally stripped for action, and Bruno Guimaraes is indeed going to get his wish. So Lewis Miley, the youngest player in European competition in Newcastle's history, when he played against Borussia Dortmund some 3 years ago, he will come on for Bruno Guimaraes, who is being instructed by the German referee: you have got to leave the field of play at the Gallagate end. Do not walk off towards the halfway line, and that will give him an opportunity, yes, to milk the crowd and the applause. However, hobbling is the last thing that injury wanted.
He's trying to guess what the injury is. It looks as if he's damaged his ankle in some way, just by the way he's moving. But he's got a long old walk across here to come as well, which is not going to help that ankle at all.
Long throw comes in from the right, punched away by Pope. We'll get an update from Marseille-Liverpool. John Akers.
Free kick for Liverpool, about 20 yards out. Szoboszlai strikes it and scores, and Liverpool are ahead in Marseille right on the stroke of half-time. It was low, a daisy cutter, but a huge goal for Liverpool. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1.
Well, that was good timing.
Excellent, superb timing. And no, it's brilliant news for Liverpool. Brilliant team to score as well. So good news for Liverpool, but very, very questionable news for Newcastle, because Hall's gone down there, holding his back. It's one of those ones that's going to be as stiff as a board tonight.
No physio was required for Lewis Hall, who looks like he's all right to continue, I would suspect, Pat.
Yeah, he's been brilliant so far. He's worked really, really hard. Really, really good in the ball. But this kind of the rhythm's going out of this game in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and that's not a bad thing at all for Newcastle United, because just see it out, try and get to half-time at 2-0, and they've done that. Well, they've nearly done that.
I'd said earlier that Newcastle's scoreline, they are leading 2-0, had propelled them into the top 8, but with Liverpool now leading by a goal to 0, they now move into 5th, and Newcastle drop to 8th. So as it currently stands, they would be in a position that would guarantee them automatic qualification for the last 16. There is a caveat to that. They're at Paris Saint-Germain next Wednesday.
Yeah, and they'll need points there, without a shadow of a doubt. But as I keep on saying, you cannot think about that now. You just need to think about this game, try and win it. And I was thinking earlier, get a second goal, you can maybe relax. Actually, you probably need a third to fully relax in this game.
2-0 they lead. We're in stoppage time here at St James's Park. The ball scooped out by Joel Linton to Hall, shaking off the effects of that jarred back. Gordon's forward ball, Whistle with a layoff. Hall's continued his run, slick move down the left-hand side, cut out by Abisso on the edge of his penalty area. Mauro Jr. plays it back towards Schouten. In fact, the team who are currently above Newcastle are Paris Saint-Germain. They are both on 13 points. Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle, who meet next week. Newcastle now have some defending to do as the ball is passed out towards the left-hand side. Perisic to measure the cross, and it comes from the left, deep, curling away out of the penalty area, drops over the head of Junior. Kept in play, forward now. Mann with a cross, good header out by Chow. Here is Wissa, tried to lift it over the head of Veerman. PSV tried to play it back to the edge of the box. There is Schouten. Time on the ball as well, no one going towards him, able to pass the ball into the penalty area. This is an opportunity. There is a shot on target in the end, coming in from Paul Varner, who we've hardly mentioned in the midfield, but it was a very tame effort, left-footed, curling, no pace on it, easily saved by Pope.
Yeah, but it's that moment just before half-time. PSV had managed to sneak a goal right now. What a difference, what a complete difference it would make to the game. The negativity you would feel around Newcastle's bench and the management and all the players there had to lost a goal, and they've not quite seen it out. We feel these last few moments are very, very important in the game.
Joel Linton climbs, and there's a big aerial advantage that he has over Mauro Jr., the diminutive midfielder, but his forward header. So the two Brazilians challenged in the air. Is eventually back towards Kovar. The wind picks up on this chilly night in the northeast, where Newcastle United have a 2-goal cushion. Looking to try and spin away is Gus Thiel over on that far side. The top scorer, 14 goals in his 27 appearances this season. It hasn't had a sight of goal here tonight. And there is indeed the half-time whistle. And Newcastle United are 2-0 up. Defensive errors from PSV punished by Wissa and Gordon after 8 and 30 minutes. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, errors, but they were enforced errors, and they were pushed. And before the game, it's quite clear that they've got a method of coming out for the back. It has failed spectacularly for PSV, but you've got to spot it, and you've got to be brave enough to go and push it on, and that's exactly what Newcastle did. And they've got the 2 goals for it. I don't think they'll be miles ahead of PSV as a team, but you get the technical things right, and that can win you games. And right now, totally in the driving seat, but the last thing you want to do now is make any silly mistakes and give PSV a sniff. 2 goals seems like a lot, but 1 goal to PSV anything like 10 or 15 minutes and the entire tie changes.
Yes, so far so good, but they cannot afford to be complacent. However, at half-time, it is Newcastle United 2, PSV Eindhoven 0.
Back with you guys in a second. At the Velodrome, John Akers, Marseille punished for no draft excluder in January.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking exactly the same. So Szoboszlai's free kick, 20 yards out to the right of the D, and he's seen there's no draft excluder, and it's hard to do, but he's gone under the wall. Just the right amount of pace. The goalkeeper got a hand to it, but it wasn't enough, and the wall jumped, and Liverpool lead at the Stade Velodrome. They went ahead through Ekitike, but it was ruled out by the VAR for offside. Correct decision. Marseille, they forced 1 save out of Alisson, have looked dangerous on the break, but it's Liverpool who have the advantage at half-time, 1-0.
So 2 for Newcastle, 1 for Liverpool, and none for Chelsea, John Southall.
Absolutely, frustration for Chelsea. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, and Paphos will be absolutely delighted with this. Chelsea have had their chances. Reece James with a 20-yarder, great strike wide of the left-hand post. Disallowed goal. Enzo Fernandez with the header at the back post, adjudged to have pushed Lucassen in the process. He was absolutely furious with that, Fernandez. Caicedo's been denied twice by Gorta. Badia Shields guided a shot wide. Then right on half-time, Harto on the left of the area, and there again was the keeper for Paphos. And arguably the away side have had the best chance. Jar Jar into the area, shot deflected off the arm of Reece James, scuffed the left-hand post. They wanted a penalty. VAR looked at it, but James's arm was in a natural position. So Chelsea, this is a game they have to win and at half-time it's Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Other big scores in the Champions League: Slavia Prague 2, Barcelona 2 at half-time. So Slavia Prague went 1-0 up. Bear in mind they're one of only two teams who haven't won a single game in the competition yet this season. Then they were pegged back. Barcelona, through Fermin Lopez, took the lead, but just before half-time, a Robert Lewandowski own goal has made it 2-2 at half-time. Other half-time scores for you, like they are at Stamford Bridge, it's 0-0 in the game between Juventus and Benfica and Bayern Munich and Union Saint-Gilloise. The other game, Atalanta lead Athletic Bilbao by 1-0. Earlier, famous win for Karabag of Azerbaijan. They beat Frankfurt with a last-minute goal. That was 3-2. And they're now 18th, so they're in position to qualify for the playoff round. The other game finished Galatasaray 1, Atletico Madrid 1. We've got our first Women's League Cup finalist because it's finished at the Joy Stadium. Katie Smith.
City 0, Chelsea 1. So Chelsea back into the final. Entertaining game, but City will be kicking themselves. So many opportunities. Hit the post twice. Shaw missed an open goal. And Hannah Hampton once again making some stunning saves. So it means Chelsea into a record-extending 7th straight final in March. The goal, a header at the back post from Vika Kaptein. Otherwise, they weren't really at their best. While for City, only their second loss of the season, but second at the hands of Chelsea. So back to the drawing board for Andre Yaglert, because in 11 days' time, Steve, they play each other again in the league for a top-of-the-table clash. But Chelsea into the final, City 0, Chelsea 1.
And now we've got our second finalist because it's finished at Meadow Park. Paul Gilmore.
The full-time whistle has just gone. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1. Annika Borba's mistake. She gifted a pass to match winner Elizabeth Terland in first half stoppage time is enough to send Manchester United to their first League Cup final. Arsenal's task was made more difficult when Olivia Smith was shown a second yellow card on 61 minutes. But even with 10 players, Arsenal put Manchester United under pressure, but they didn't create enough clear-cut openings. It is finished here. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1.
So Chelsea-Manchester United Women's League Cup final, Ashton Gate on March the 15th. Half-time in the Championship, Stoke City and Middlesbrough. Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0. Wide open this game. It's been a good watch. Thomas Rigo with the only goal of it. Shot from 20 yards, hard and low, and it squirmed under goalkeeper Sol Bryn for 1-0. Really poor from Bryn. It gets worse every time you see it on the replays. Manhoef's hit the bar for Stoke, and Cissé's been denied from close range by Bryn. Borough got going towards the end of the half. Aidan Morris was denied by Simpkin, who then made a brilliant double save to deny Whittaker, but he was offside anyway. Borough will go second with a win, but at half-time it's Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Southampton leads Sheffield United by 1-0 into the second half, which leaves us with Watford-Portsmouth. Andy Stevenson.
It's 0-0 here at the start of the second half. Portsmouth have been the better side, although Watford have probably had the better chances. Luca Kieramgard steered a Jeremy Ngaki across just over the bar. At the other end, Pompey was shouting for a penalty when it looked like Watford defender James Abankwah touched a corner with his hand, but referee Bentona said no. VAR, I think, would definitely have given that in the Premier League. Watford 0, Portsmouth 0.
Back to St James's Park. Pat, I'm amazed that it took so long for the decision to be taken out of Bruno's hands. Given the scoreline, given his significance, it took an awful long time.
Given the fact he was on a yellow card as well.
Yeah.
You know, did so many things, and having watched him at the recent Manchester City game, I'm being kind, but I also, being honest, I don't think he's been fully fit, even before the game today, so he was a little bit off the pace of the game, but it just shows you something positive. He wants to fight, he wants to do what he can for the team, but it wasn't being helpful there, and it's certainly with injuries, we don't know what kind of injury it is because we're not sure how he went down, but it looked maybe an ankle one. Don't take a chance on that, because it could be something that's a week that ends up being 4 weeks, and you can't afford that just now with so many games. So Bruno's come off, Miley's come on. I don't think that's made them any weaker at all in the middle of that field. In fact, it may have given them more legs and more energy there. So, you know, it's a good thing, but you could see it just right in front of us, because I'm sure you sat here with us before. We're only about 10 yards away from Eddie Howe, and he kept on going, give me an answer, please. Let me know. Yes, I'm coming off. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. And he eventually said yes, but then the ball didn't go out for about 5 minutes. So very, very strange. But in the end, they're 2-0 up. Nothing came of it. They're going to come out for the second half. Didn't lose a goal near the end there, and actually haven't given away that many chances. So it's not looking very good for Newcastle just now.
And you asked our Dutch friend Jeroen exactly the same question that I was thinking of around PSV, which is how does a team who score so many goals, etc., find themselves on comparatively so few points? Now we've seen them defend, I get it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where a lot of teams, you know, they play out for the back, and it's quite clever because I was trying to explain it during the game. most teams will leave 3 or 4 back forward, leave 3 behind at the back to pass it out, and the full-back, usually the left-back, will go in the midfield and give you a little bit of help. All fine and dandy, because you've usually got an extra man. They don't. They put 2 at the back with the goalkeeper and try and play out for there. Problem is, if you've got 2 lightning-quick players up there like Vissa and Gordon, 2 on 2, you just make one tiny error. They are all over you. And they just kept on doing it. It wasn't the 2 errors, it was more than that. So they lost 2 goals of it, and eventually the keeper said, I'm not doing that anymore, and just hoofed the next one. But by that point, well, stable door hadn't been bolted and the horses got.
Yeah. Pat, Ian, thank you. We'll be back at St James's for second half commentary shortly. So on 5 Live, Newcastle 2, PSV 0. On 5 Sports Extra, Marseille 0, Liverpool 1 at half time. And of course, we're keeping you right up to date with Chelsea against the Cypriot side Paphos. That one also 0-0 at half time. We'll talk a bit of Jean-Philippe Mateta before the action gets back underway after the news with Alison Hughes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. And we've had some news breaking in the past hour. President Trump has said he won't impose the trade tariffs he threatened on 8 countries, including the UK, over their support for Denmark's sovereignty of Greenland. He said a very productive meeting with the Secretary-General of NATO, Mark Rutte, had led to the basics of a future deal covering Greenland and the wider Arctic region. Donald Trump spoke to reporters a short time ago. And just a warning, there's a lot of background noise in this.
It's a deal that people jumped at. Really fantastic for the USA. Gets everything we wanted, including especially real national security and international security.
How so? Can you give us some details, please?
Well, the deal is going to be put out pretty soon. I mean, we'll see. It's right now a little bit in progress, but pretty far along. It gets us everything we needed to get.
So as you heard there, the US president hasn't explained the details of the proposal, but he has said it will involve collaboration with NATO and Denmark, and it will be, in his words, forever. The Danish Foreign Minister, Lars Rasmussen, has welcomed Donald Trump's announcement, saying the day ended better than it started. In an interview with Danish national broadcaster DR, he says that what's important for Denmark is to end this in a way that respects the Greenlandic people. Shares rose on Wall Street after President Trump's announcement. Here's our North America business correspondent, Michelle Fleury.
Donald Trump tends to be pretty immune to pushback, but I think one area where he has seemed to pay attention in the past is the financial markets. And if you look back at the last couple of days, we'd seen investors growing increasingly nervous about the idea of steep tariffs coming into effect on February 1st and the sort of resumption of a global trade war.
There'll be a lot more on this developing story here on 5 Live with Tony Livesey from 10:30. Prince Harry has told the High Court in London that Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Daily Mail, made his wife's life an absolute misery. He was giving evidence as part of legal action against the company, which denies allegations of unlawful information gathering. And health officials in Gaza say 11 people, including 3 journalists, have been killed in separate Israeli strikes. Israel's military says it targeted Hamas-affiliated suspects operating a drone that threatened its troops.
A new era of Formula One is about to dawn.
I think the biggest step the sport has ever seen.
There are new rules, new cars, and a brand new team.
In Formula One, it's just absolute, brutal, pure competition.
And the next generation of star drivers are taking us along for the ride too.
I'm gonna go like a madman.
If you want to make it, first of all, you have to believe that you have what it takes.
The biggest shake-up of F1's rulebook has been years in the making.
Somebody's gonna get it right and somebody's gonna get it wrong.
I'm Rosamund Pike, and this is F1 Back at Base, a new era. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Second half commentaries here on 5 Live from St James's Park and on 5 Sports Extra from the Velodrome coming up very shortly. Back underway at Stamford Bridge already in the Champions League. John Southall.
Where it is, Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, but Chelsea have made a double change at half-time. Estevao has come on, which went down very well with the home fans. 3 goals in his 3 Champions League starts so far for Chelsea. Reece James has gone off and Sanchez is on in goal for Jorgensen, who picked up a knock in that first half. So as we said at half-time, this a game really Chelsea have to win and it's currently Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Teams are on their way back out at the Velodrome, so if you want to hop over to 5 Sports Extra for the second half of Marseille 0, Liverpool 1, now is probably a good time. Before we're back underway here at St James's Park, let's talk a bit of Jean-Philippe Mateta, who's told Crystal Palace he wants to leave the club this month. He's got 18 months left on his current deal. There's a piece by our football news reporter Alex Howe that you can read right now on the BBC Sport website. Alex is with us. Can you believe it's 7 months since they won the FA Cup? They lost Eza. Mateta wants to leave. Glasner's leaving. It's wild how quickly it can unravel, isn't it?
It really is, Steve. This month has been a painful one for Crystal Palace fans. As you've mentioned there, all of those things happening. The embarrassing FA Cup defeat by Macclesfield, Glasner saying he's going to leave, Mark Gahey going to Manchester City, and now Jean-Philippe Mateta saying that he wants to go this month as well, and that he's disappointed by the club's ambition and also the contract discussions that he's been having over the past year.
Who can afford him?
Not many, not many, but looking at his profile, his history for a striker in the Premier League who has a track record of scoring goals, in the ballpark of 40 million, it probably is good value. The thing that goes against Jean-Philippe Mateta is his age. He's 28, but he's in his prime and has a proven track record. So have the interest from Juventus, which he's keen on making the move, and then also the interest from Aston Villa as well.
It's a nightmare situation for Palace fans. We already know what their manager wants to do. Is it possible that any of these added factors, like Mateta wanting out, could influence what Steve Parish does now?
That's a tricky one to answer. If Mateta goes, Palace have to be active in the transfer market before it ends at the beginning of February. When you look at Crystal Palace's signings in the January transfer window, most of the time they do the deals at the back end of the month. Mateta himself, when he first arrived at Palace, was at the back end of the January transfer window. The same with Daniel Munoz. So it might do, but there's a lot of factors going on and a lot for Steve Parish to decide.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. We are ready to go at St James's Park. Ian?
Yes, we are. Thank you, Steve. Now the side has made a change at half-time, so I'll run through the two teams for you. Pope is in goal, Trippier, Chow, Botman and Hall, the defence for Newcastle. Joe Linton, Miley, remember a replacement just before the break for Guimarães, Tonali, complete the midfield. There's the referee's whistle. Barnes, Wissa and Gordon. Newcastle, black and white striped shirts, white shorts, their European kit, and they're playing from left to right as we look, leading by 2-0 against a PSV Eindhoven side that is predominantly all in navy. Kovar in goal, Sildilia, Schouten, Obispo and Garowski now at left back is the change to the way that they line up with the changes that they were forced to make in the first half. Varner, Junior, Wim in the midfield, Perisic, Thiel and Mann are their front three. So they've got a lot of work to do in this second half as they attack the end where their supporters are housed high up in the gods away at the Leazes end. Newcastle leading 2-0 will just look to protect this sizable cushion that they have, which will at least guarantee a playoff spot for the Champions League. There's been a goal at Stoke City in the Championship. Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Middlesbrough. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 1. Shot from inside the area. Good save, Tommy Simpkin, but Alan Brown was following in, firing into the roof of the net to make it Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Remember, Liverpool are leading at Marseille by 1-0, and Chelsea still drawing 0-0 at home to Paphos. Pat Nevin.
It'd be quite a disappointment if Chelsea didn't get the win in that game. That was an absolute definite 3 points expected, but you'll see it. Early days yet, but certainly the start of the second half, Newcastle got the ball down, try to slow the game down, play at a pace that suits them a little bit better, because there were periods in the first half, although they didn't give away any chances, they didn't really control the midfield.
Not saying that I'm old or anything, but I remember covering when these two sides met the first time in the Champions League in 1997. It is the 5th meeting overall and their first in 22 years. Newcastle United leading by 2-0 for what is their 147th game in European competition. 7 English clubs have played more, but they are closing down on Leeds United's tally. and they will certainly overtake that should they progress in the competition, which is very much the aim for Eddie Howe, as they are looking for what would be 3 successive home wins here in the Champions League after those back-to-back wins against Benfica and Athletic Bilbao. But Perisic coming forward on the left, stopped by Trippier, sliding in. It'll be a PSV throw. Pat.
Yeah, Perisic would love to get the ball, in the final third, a little bit of space. He is one of those players, he's a left winger who doesn't know where the other half is, because he never goes back. He just stays up, and it doesn't matter if Trippier runs off, and he'll just stand there and hope to get the ball in a little bit of space. But of course, he's got that much talent, he is a danger when that happens.
Great noise by the Newcastle supporters being generated inside St James's Park tonight. Chow back to Pope, gets it out from his feet, clears it left-footed, only as far as Mann on the far side. He passes the ball out wide, in comes the cross from Thiel, blocked though by Lewis Hall, rebounds out of play for a PSV throw. The multi-ball system is in operation, so it's back in play very, very quickly as PSV looking to try and get back in the game by reducing the arrears. In comes the cross from the right back, Sildilia on the half volley. Tucked in was the Newcastle right back, Trippier. Sildilia will try again as he lifts it into the air. Perisic heads it towards Varner, who'd made the run through from midfield. Here is Varner, back heels the ball now. Gazarovski, good interception, good anticipation by Trippier, runs into trouble. PSV get it back. Maror Jr. 30 yards out from goal, central position. And PSV passing the ball quickly, Pat. Good tempo for the Dutch champions.
I can see it all the way through the first half. Even though 2-0 down, they're a neat and tidy looking side. Like, they haven't been threatening in the final third. But Newcastle can't switch off at any point. 2-0 feels good, but it's not perfect. It's not enough.
Varner, ball breaks in field. It's touched out towards Mann. Junior on the overlap with a deep cross into the penalty area. There was a slip there by Perisic that must have taken a touch off Trippier, surely. Oh, it must have done. No, it had to be a Newcastle throw.
Yeah, I thought so as well. A good play, very good passing to manipulate the situation where they got to the byline on the right-hand side. Now the ball's clipped to the back post, and Perisic's got 2 or 3 or 4 inches on Trippier at that back post. However, as you say, he didn't get up quick enough. But it just shows you there are little danger signs, just little danger signs so far for Newcastle.
Barnes trying to roll away from Gazarovski, but quickly back into position was Obispo. Miley, who had such a fine game against Manchester City last week, he really impressed you, didn't he?
He always does. He's a very, very special young player. You and I had a chat to Eddie Howe about it afterwards, didn't we? And I think Eddie, like myself, rates him as one of the very special talents in the game going forward.
Yeah, only turns 20 this year. The noise has been increased inside St James's Park by the Newcastle supporters. Really good backing from them tonight. Juventus are leading Benfica by 1-0 in Turin. And Bayern Munich, through Harry Kane, are going to go second. They lead Union Saint-Gilloise by 1-0. They've won 5 of their 6 matches. As Trippier takes the free kick, it's a wicked one, aimed towards Chow. Drops out behind for a corner. We'll go to John Akers watching Marseille-Liverpool.
Marseille 0, Liverpool 1. Wirtz in a great position, took too long to shoot, about 12 yards out, and it was blocked. And Mason Greenwood's gone close twice for Marseille. One a good save from Alisson. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1.
So Real Madrid actually slipped to 4th as Bayern Munich go second. Arsenal, of course, guaranteed to be in the top 2. They've won 7 out of 7. And it means that whoever finishes second, whether it's Bayern, they will not be able to face them until the final. There's Trippier with an in-swinging corner. Botman backpedals, gets his head onto it. Tonali is the one who retrieves it from the right. His cross is headed out by PSV. Trippier plays this bobbling ball out towards Hall. And Hall out to this near side for Tonali. Back to Trippier outside the centre circle. Every PSV player is back behind the ball. Newcastle leading 2-0, 7 minutes into the second half. Hoisted to the edge of the penalty area. Comes off the head of Obispo, and it will go out of play for a PSV throw on their far side, their right. Chelsea Paphos, John Southall.
Chelsea 0, Paphos 0, but Chelsea are pressing for this goal. They've got a free kick over on the right-hand side. It's whipped in and just nudged away by Seema, the defender for Paphos. We've had some brilliance from Estevao. Ball over the top, watched it over his shoulder, hit it on the volley. Brilliant technique, but there was Gorta again to save it. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
We're on air tonight until 10:30. Tony Livesey takes over on 5 Live after 5 Live Sport, and not wishing to detract listeners from Tony's late night show, but Champions League highlights are on 10 minutes after that on BBC One. You can watch all the goals from tonight and last night, of course, as including Bodo Glimt with that shock against Manchester City. 10:40, BBC One with all the goals.
It's right in front of us now. We're talking about I was talking about Perisic. He won't run back, and he just passes Trippier on. Problem is, there's no one to pass him on to, because the fullback's got 2 players, and he's furious that he's getting left 2 against 1 time and time again. But they have to take chances, PSV. They have no option.
Yeah, they do. Bayern Munich have got a second goal, and it's another goal for Harry Kane. They lead 2-0 now. Harry Kane from the penalty spot as Gordon runs forward and carries it down that left-hand side. His cross on the run. Barnes waits, tried to meet it on the fault, jumped over the ball. Gazarovski will clear. Varner turns. Referee, I think, has played... No, yes, he has played the advantage. Going to be a yellow card for Tonali, because there was a push there on Varner. The referee tried to let the game flow, but Tonali is the second Newcastle player to be booked. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, maybe he was a tiny bit cynical, but that's a pretty soft yellow card there for Tonali. But the referee felt as if he knew what he's doing. There was a break there. Tonali wasn't going to get back if the player got beyond him. So the referee will probably be quite pleased with himself, but that's a very, very soft yellow card.
Atalanta have conceded a goal to Athletic Bilbao. Atalanta 1, Athletic Bilbao 1 is a latest score elsewhere in the Champions League. Forget Australian Open tennis breakfast on Sports Extra once again at 7 in the morning. Currently on Sports Extra now is Marseille 0, Liverpool 1. Perisic has gone down, holding. Is that his hip, or is he been caught somewhere else? Yeah, it's like he's
just above his hip. Looks like just above his hip.
His hip bordering into the groin, I think it might be.
He's certainly rolling about, writhing. To be honest, it doesn't look this kind of thing you're really acting. You know, you wouldn't go down holding that part of your. Actually, maybe just below his ribs. He's not happy with it anyway.
Well, the referee has had a word with him. I think he's going to continue. He's going to battle on as the 36-year-old. 50 appearances in his, I think it was probably an 18-month spell, wasn't it, really, at Tottenham, and just the 1 goal. However, he's been much more of a success for PSV. 16 goals in just over 50 appearances since he arrived in the Netherlands. Trippier forward on this near side, the right. Miley touches the ball towards Barnes, edge of the area, caught in possession by Vehement for PSV. Interception though for Hall as he runs forward on that left-hand side. Gordon now shapes to shoot, cannons off the body of Sildilia, and there is a break for PSV that is stopped by Hall in his left-back role. There's been a goal at Watford. Andy Stevenson.
It's Portsmouth who have taken the lead, and they deserve it. A lovely placed finish with his left foot from Adrian Segacic, his 6th goal of the season. Watford 0, Portsmouth 1, just under 20 minutes to go here.
Watford were 8th in the table. A win would have taken them into a playoff position. Middlesbrough, well, they are eyeing automatic promotion. They were drawing 1-1 at Stoke. There's been another goal. Lee Blakeman.
Game has completely turned around just before the hour mark. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2, ball across the face of goal, and there was Tommy Conway on the turn at the back post to bundle it in. Middlesbrough ahead and going second. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Yeah, they started the night a point behind Ipswich, so they'll go 2 points in front of Ipswich Town. Remember, Chelsea still drawing 0-0 against Paphos. Liverpool still have a slender lead in the south of France. Newcastle United, I wouldn't say they're comfortable, but they do have this cushion of a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, but because they've got so much experience in that group, and they've got a lot of European experience as well now, It's the sort of game they should be able to manage out.
Gordon sent free. Gordon enters the area. Gordon's still going. The angle is tight. Takes it away from the goalkeeper, Kovar. Couldn't return it into the centre towards Wissa. That was blocked. Hall tries to keep the ball in play on the far side. Does so.
I mean, the break there is once again, it's 2-on-2. The ease in which they allow themselves to go 2-on-2 at the back, it's as if they trust the centre-backs to do that. That's a dangerous thing to do against really, really quick forwards.
Here is Miley, this young, elegant midfielder, forward, headed away by Junior. Only comes back to Hall. Newcastle United now have it with Tonali. Gives the ball back towards Hall. Forward along the ground, midway through the PSV half. Joe Linton towards Gordon. Takes a deflection on its way through to Barnes. He finds Wissa, the interchange there. Barnes just couldn't take it with him as he dangled the left leg. Just fractionally and annoyingly behind him, but Joe Linton wins it back in the midfield against Mauro Junior. Told to slow it down by Miley and Newcastle. You said it at times in the start of the first half, they weren't controlling the game. They appear to be controlling it now.
That's it, and I'm sure that's what the manager said to them at half-time. There's no need to rush anything now. You can hold the ball for long periods if you like.
Miley makes the run in behind. He lifts over the cross. Wissa waits, and it comes off the head of Schouten, who was tight behind Wissa. And Wissa's looking towards the referee for a penalty, but that's just going to be a corner kick, surely.
It's just because the ball was just up in the air far too long, wasn't it? Because it's up there that long, it gives the defender a chance to come in at the back. There was a little bit of noise, but he has to go for that with his head. And I would agree with the referee that probably should just be a corner kick and nothing else, but very good play. Miley gets to the byline, and Newcastle have one of the best phases of the game now.
Newcastle, let's put it this way, if it went against them, a penalty decision like that, they'd be fuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Juventus have got a second goal at home to Benfica. Juventus 2, Benfica 0. Newcastle lead 2-0 here. Black and white striped shirts of Newcastle United. Corner taken short, then played back to Trippier, who sends it over deep inside the penalty area, but it's curled out of play for a throw, despite the best efforts of Joe Linton. Pat Nevin.
Well, they tried really hard to sort of work a corner kick. Obviously, it's come straight from the training ground. Laid it back to Trippier, who came late and put it deep. And everybody knew what was going to happen there. It was a goal that Arsenal scored the other night there, when the ball played to the back post, headed across. It was an absolutely brilliant corner kick from Arsenal. But then again, we're kind of getting used to that from Arsenal. They are fabulous in that area.
They've played out from the back on this occasion, and Obispo has been able to carry the ball midway through the Newcastle half. Varner now out to Sildilia, the right back. Mauro Junior with a shot, charged down, breaks on the edge of the area. There was Miley. And this is Barnes, holds off the challenge of Gazorovski and cleared away by Trippier. Headed back by Obispo. Here is Varner, snapping away at the heels was Chow, who's followed him, and he's unable to keep the ball in play, and it goes out for a throw. So I think we'll go to Marseille-Liverpool. It's on Sports Extra, John Akers.
Liverpool have hit the crossbar. Ekitike, first time strike, didn't do a lot wrong, smacked off the crossbar. Marseille goes straight down the other end, and Traoré puts it over the bar on the breakaway. It's open now, Marseille 0, Liverpool 1.
That's on Sports Extra. Keeping an eye on matters at Stamford Bridge, John Southall.
It is still Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. 65 minutes played, 2 more chances for Chelsea. Pedro Neto shot from the edge of the area, saved by Gorta. Estevao made space in the area, opened up, shot deflected wide. Paphos are camped in their own half, everybody behind the ball. Surely the goal is coming. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Chelsea have 11 points, and because their goal difference is +5, really can't see them dropping out of the playoff positions for next week with that point, because any side who would need to win doesn't have. I don't think there's going to be that sufficient swing of a goal difference, but it was certainly a damaging blow to any hopes of Chelsea featuring in the top 8 to see automatic qualification. A goal at Vicarage Road, Andy Stevenson.
It's a Watford equaliser. Mamadou Doumbia the scorer, but it's a horror show for the Portsmouth keeper Nicolas Schmidt, who dropped a fairly simple cross and then just couldn't get anywhere near Doumbia. It's Watford 1, Portsmouth 1.
Thank you, Andy. A double change is being made here by PSV Eindhoven, and it is an attacking change because the Esmir Bayraktarovic, who's a Bosnian international, has come on. He's only 20 years of age, signed him from New England last January. Most of his appearances this season have been off the bench. Indeed, 3 of 21 appearances now have only been starts. And Driouche comes on for Perisic over on that left-hand side. He scored a couple of goals at Anfield, didn't he, in that 4-1 win against Liverpool?
He did. He's much, much quicker than Perisic would be, so I'm going to ask a different type of question, and I don't think Trippier will run off him quite as regularly. I think Driouche, he will definitely trace back a little bit, but a dangerous player, as you say, and certainly he's got a goal in him as well.
Barcelona now leading Slavia Prague by 3-2 in the Czech Republic. Driouche, who averages a goal involvement every 31 minutes in the Champions League this season, with 3 goals and 2 assists as they come forward now. Bayraktarovic, this young Bosnian international. Mauro Junior. Certainly a goal for PSV and the Dutch champions, would set us up for a rather nervy finale here at St James's Park. Newcastle still lead 2-0.
Well, it's quite noticeable that Newcastle can't do that high press now. Just over an hour into the game, Visser, he tried it a couple of times there and he just isn't getting close enough now because he's put all that energy in. Similarly, Anthony Gordon, not quite as zippy when he's closing down those back two. I mean, maybe they should hold it a little bit. Don't go chasing every single time. Choose your times to close down, and it might still work. But I'm sure Eddie Howe's maybe thinking us a little bit of a change there might be worth as well.
Offside against Thiel. I think they've pushed Varner a little bit further upfield as well, haven't they, in the midfield, as the wind swings and sweeps around St James's Park on this night. Offside, it'll be a free kick for Newcastle. So Bayraktarovic is primarily playing out over on that right-hand side, so he's like a like-for-like change for the remaining international man. Pope with a free kick for Newcastle. 64 minutes played. Here is Barnes. Wissa makes a run ahead of him. Barnes might not need him. Barnes goes it alone, and Barnes tucks it away. What an excellent goal for Harvey Barnes. Newcastle United surely now guaranteed at least a playoff spot. They lead PSV Eindhoven 3-0.
Brilliant by Harvey Barnes. I mean, just as soon as he got the ball there, he only had one thing in his mind. He's got players in front of him, but he wants to get onto that left foot there. And he drives through the middle of that defence, and that's been a weakness all right long for PSV, that 2 centre-backs. And whichever 2 it is, they just didn't look as if they can defend that well. And Harvey Barnes, they went past him as if they weren't there. Still had the keeper to beat, but you never thought for a millisecond he was going to miss that. Zipped into the far corner. 3-0. This whole stadium can now breathe and relax.
Yes. Any jeopardy has surely disappeared now. Newcastle United have that comfort blanket, knowing that they can go to Paris Saint-Germain, knowing that they stay in the Champions League, whether it's in the top 8 and guaranteed the last 16, or at least the playoffs is assured.
Yeah,
and that was vital for Eddie Howe.
Well, apart from anything else, I mean, not that many teams actually get in the top 8. I mean, the very top teams, Arsenal obviously expect Real Madrid. For Newcastle at the start of the season, if you said you'd get to the playoffs, you'd say, yeah, thanks, we'll take that. Anything else is an absolute bonus. So they've got, I mean, we're saying it now, there's in the 66th minute, I mean, mad things happen in football. In the Champions League, we've seen strange things happening. It seems unlikely now. They have managed it well, and now Eddie Howe might be able to think, who can I rest?
Yeah.
Who can I take off? Because rest is so important at this part of the season.
With Aston Villa to come here on Sunday, a game you can hear on BBC Radio 5 Live. When it was the group stages in they went out of the group stages in 23-24. That was this is of course the first time with the new format for Newcastle. They'd never actually reached the knockout stages, although they did progress to the second group stage, if you remember that format when it was 2002, 2003. But that top 8 is certainly dominated by Premier League sides, with Arsenal at the top, Liverpool currently 4th, Tottenham in 5th, and Newcastle now currently sitting in 7th, as they now lead PSV Eindhoven by 3-0. Midway through the second half, here at St James's Park, Chelsea Paphos, John Southall.
It's still Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. We're into the final 20 minutes of this game. Changes have been made. Cucurella's come on, João Pedro's come on, Jamie Gittins has come on, Caicedo's hit a dipping 25-yarder, Gorta with the save. 54 European games since a Chelsea 0-0. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Here is Wissa, caught in possession. Joel Linton helping support, keeps the ball with Newcastle United. Athletic Bilbao, who were trailing in Bergamo, have now come from behind. So it's Atalanta 1, Athletic Bilbao 2. What's the latest in the south of France? John Akers.
Marseille 0, Liverpool 1, but they've gone close again. Liverpool, Wirtz, left foot shot, saved by the goalkeeper at his near post, a really sharp save, and Frimpong has just put one across the penalty area for Liverpool, but no one on the end of it. Weir's had a chance on Marseille 0, Liverpool 1.
Commentary on Sports Extra, Pat Nevin.
Yep, just looking down at the players that are out there just now, and it must be the main thing in Eddie Howe's mind. Who needs a rest? Who's going to help with the rest most? You think of Vista, remember he's had injuries, and you don't want to take a chance, if a player's come back, give him a certain amount of minutes. Voltemada would love to come on just now as well. Anthony Gordon rarely lasts a full game as well because of the effort he makes, so we shall see if Eddie Howe makes that change, or those changes, because I expect it to be plural within the next few minutes.
It is the luxury of such a scoreline here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live on the red button, the iPlayer, BBC Sport website and app, as you will be able to then see and listen to the commentary, the video printer that I have got just away towards my left-hand side. Miley with a weighted ball, Barnes makes the run, Barnes with a cross, Wissa tried to meet it first time, sliding in 8 yards out, goes behind for a goal kick. That would have been an incredible goal.
It's one of those ones, when the move started just inside the opposition half on the right hand side by Miley, you knew how it was going to end. You knew exactly what was going on. Miley seen the pass in there, Barnes still got lots of energy there, gets the ball into the right area. We're talking about Visser 15 minutes earlier, probably puts that one away, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's just, a little bit of tiredness creeping in, understandably so, because they put a huge amount of work in there, but just couldn't get that extra couple of inches to get the tap in. But it was a fabulous move, and right now Newcastle are purring. The game gets easy when you're 3 goals up.
Yeah, that was all about pace and power down the right-hand side. Stoke City against Middlesbrough, an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. Lee Blakeman.
17 minutes to go, Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2. Middlesbrough have just had a good chance to wrap it up though. Conway, the scorer of the second, shot, edge of the area, hard and low, brilliant save by Simpkin to his right to keep it at Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Not for the first time tonight, Pat Nevin has been proven correct. Yeah. Newcastle are going to make 3 changes here in the second half.
I've not guessed who's coming off yet. I have to guess that. I mean, Vista you've got to do. And certainly Anthony Gordon, I would be taking him off as at all possible.
Yeah, so Joel Linton is going to come off. So Jacob Ramsey will replace Joel Linton in the midfield. And while these changes take place, let's hear of another goal in Marseille. John Akers.
And it's come for Liverpool. It's a bit scrappy, but they won't care. Great work from Frimpong down the right-hand side. Stands up the defender, sprints to the byline, puts the ball back across, and I think it's come off the back of the defender sitting on the ground for Marseille. It's gone in off his backside, in off the post. Yeah, it has. And Liverpool are 2-0 up. Marseille 0, Liverpool 2.
So Liverpool lead 2-0 in Marseille. Barcelona, Lewandowski has scored at both ends. Slavia Prague 2, Barcelona 4, and Athletic Bilbao have got a third goal. Atalanta 1, Athletic Bilbao 3. The changes that have been made here with Newcastle 3-0 up. Ramsey coming on for Joel Linton, which was important because he was on a yellow card. That would have ruled him out of Paris Saint-Germain next week. Voltemada for Wissa, and Elanga comes on for Gordon.
Again, good energy there, isn't it, Elanga? He's not absolutely went brilliantly for him since he came to Newcastle, but he's come on in the game. You've got 20 or so minutes to go and have some sort of impression. You're 3 goals up. It's Champions League night. Just get on the ball in that final third and ask questions of the fullback who's playing against you. And it's Gazirovsky who's playing against who, he plays centre back, but sometimes left back. Got to ask him a question. Got to get the ball. I just hope he gets a chance, because when you're a player trying to break into a side in the standard of Newcastle with the quality of wingers they've got, it's not easy at the best of times.
The other thing, and I can't help but feel that they might still need a point to give them any hope of a top 8 finish, but looking at that league table, Newcastle's goal difference of +10 is the same as Paris Saint-Germain. It's actually only bettered the goal difference by Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Arsenal. PSV are going to make a change as we go to John Southall at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea 0, Paphos 0. Chelsea have a corner over on the far right-hand side. 14 minutes of the game left to play. This will leave Chelsea on 11 points in 15th, 2 points off 8th, but it would look very difficult if they don't win this game to finish in the top 8. Chelsea 0, Paphos 0.
Yes, it certainly would. Teal is the player who's come off. He's actually gone off on the far side, the striker. And they've brought on Ran Flamingo, as Gazirovsky has got to pass the ball back towards Kovar, and Langer was herring after him to put him under some pressure. That really wouldn't be good at all, would it? Chelsea drawing 0-0 with Paphos.
The real disappointment for a number of ways, but just get great belief they could get one at some point, because they were in complete control of the game, haven't they, as much as we can hear.
Well, it's no longer goalless, John.
Relief at the bridge. Chelsea 1, Paphos 0. It came from a corner at the right-hand side, and there was Moises Caicedo 6 yards out to head it in. Chelsea 1, Paphos 0.
They go to Napoli next week, to Chelsea, so that would currently take them on to 13 points. And actually it now means that there are 5 Premier League sides in the top 8, because Chelsea are currently in 8th position as a result of that goal that they've just scored at home to Paphos. Ilanga leaps in the air, tries to head it into the path of Miley. Gazirovsky under pressure from Ilanga, off balance, out it goes for a throw for Newcastle, who are full of running and full of confidence.
Well, they are, and Ilanga particularly, he's hardly touched the ball, but the speed and the pace and chasing down defenders, he's also got immediately get Newcastle fans on his side, as if to say, look, I want to show you that I can play, I can do something. There have been a few grumbles and groans at him, but nice start to this game for him.
PSV haven't been able to live with Newcastle at times, and Newcastle coming forward again. Trippier back heels the ball towards Sonali, just in from the right touchline, level with the penalty area, back towards Trippier. PSV, who unbeaten in the Champions League away from home this season. They beat Liverpool 4-1 at Anfield. They've drawn at Leverkusen and Olympiacos, but put to the sword tonight as Ilanga with a cross. Voltemada's header caught by Kovar just underneath the crossbar. Newcastle 3-0 up. Latest in that game at the Championship. Stoke City lead Blakeman.
Oh, it's all going wrong for Stoke. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2. Stoke a goal down and now a man down. Bosun Lawal's just been sent off for a second yellow card. Late tackle on Aidan Morris. 2 yellows, 1 red. He's down the tunnel. Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Notice as well that Bayern Munich are down to 10 men as well. The South Korean international Min Jae Kim has been sent off for Bayern Munich, who are leading Union Saint-Gilloise by 2-0, courtesy of a brace of goals from Harry Kane. Wissa, Gordon and Barnes on the score sheet for Newcastle United.
Just a little break there, and Driesch got the ball for the first time on the left-hand side. I suspect since he's come on, he's done more than Perisic did for the entirety time that he was on for the first hour or so.
The voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live. The supporters have alerted the German referee that this corner kick wasn't anywhere near the quadrant. So Daniel Siebert quickly had a look after wandering across to this near side. In it comes, fired over, and unable to keep the ball down, I think, was Kylian Sildilia, the French right back who they signed from Freiburg in the summer on a 5-year deal.
They've actually scored a few corners from a few corners in the competition so far. The problem they've got there, that they had Voltemada at the front post, and they also had Miley as well. Both of them very, very tall players, so hard to get a good ball in.
Ramsey wriggles free, passes the ball into the penalty area for Ilanga, and Ilanga off target. Well, He's actually gone 36 club games without a goal since last April, Forest against Manchester United. But that was an effort that he fired well off target.
But what's really nice is the reaction he gets from Newcastle fans. He looked a wee bit devoid of confidence to me when the Manchester City game had come on. He just didn't believe in himself. And there's a lot of pressure to come to a place like this, and the high expectations. And he come on, he didn't look like himself. And we know he's very capable. Since he's walked on the park tonight, he looks fabulous, Elanga. And if he can keep that confidence up, and the fans they're trying to give him as much as they can. If you can do that, that's another really good strength to the Newcastle ball up front.
Yeah, Elanga's certainly being supported from the Gallowgate end away towards our right. Southampton have got their first win in the Championship in 8 matches. They've beaten Sheffield United by a 1-0. As PSV, who are 3-0 down, have possession on the halfway line. We've got about 12 minutes remaining. Remember, we're on air and through till 10:30 tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live as we go back to Stamford Bridge and John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Paphos 0. Good response from Paphos from the goal, though. D'Amato with a header came off Badiashile and over the crossbar. So as it stands at the moment, Chelsea in the top 8. They are 8th on 13 points. Chelsea 1, Paphos 0.
Got 7 games to bring you at the weekend in the Premier League across the 5 Live network. Burnley Spurs is our commentary at 3. Sports Extra at the same time will be Manchester City against Wolves. As PSV attack on the right hand side. Marot Junior infield. Barner back towards Junior. Out it goes. Cross comes in. Aimed towards Driouche. And Newcastle United through Tonali clear. Bournemouth-Liverpool is our commentary at 5:30, and 4 more games in the Premier League on Sunday. Newcastle-Villa here at 2, Palace-Chelsea at the same time on Sports Extra, Brentford-Forest on Sports Extra 2, and Arsenal-Manchester United is our commentary at 4:30 as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
Again, they've managed it well this last little bit. PSV have got a good bit of the ball, but it's not really led to any clear-cut chances. I can't think of any really clear-cut chances that PSV have actually managed.
No.
Nothing clean on goal, nothing that has really worried Pope too much. They've defended really well. Considering that the amount of defenders that Newcastle are missing just now, if they could finish with a clean sheet tonight, they'd be absolutely delighted with that.
I do recall, and only because I just looked at my notes, the Varner tame effort just before half-time, which was straight at Pope.
Yeah, but Pope actually... he didn't really have to try too hard.
Yeah. So it would be 3 successive wins at home and 3 successive clean sheets too, after beating Benfica 3-0 here in October and Athletic Bilbao 2-0 a month later. They now lead PSV 3-0. PSV, who have scored in 18 of their last 19 either group stages or league phase matches. Of course, both sides managed by the great Sir Bobby Robson, who passed away 17 years ago. Actually had 2 spells during his time in Eindhoven. As PSV under pressure give the ball towards Barnes, full of running into the area. Ramsey a little flat-footed and allows Schouten to get back there and to help clear it for PSV. How long have we got? Got 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, 10 minutes. You don't want to overexert yourself, but I'll tell you what, the players that are overexerting themselves are the ones that have come on. They've come on with a great attitude for Newcastle, and what would make it the perfect night would be if Elanga could get a goal, or indeed Voltamada. Those two getting goals, and you walk up really delighted if you're Eddie Howe, because when you leave players out, they're always a bit disappointed, even though you do know that you have to change the team around a little bit. But as an attacker, you want to be on there and you want to be scoring goals.
All 3 English sides are leading in the Champions League tonight. Liverpool 2-0 at Marseille. Chelsea only 1-0 at home to Paphos, and Newcastle United 3-0 here at home against PSV Eindhoven. The Dutch champions and the runaway leaders this year. I mean, they won it by a point last year against Ajax. They are currently 16 points clear of Feyenoord as they look for a 3rd successive title and a 27th Dutch championship overall. I mean, I remember covering the games against Arsenal last season, and indeed Arsenal absolutely battered them in Eindhoven. 7-1 it was, which was their heaviest defeat in European competition. And Newcastle here taking full advantage of them playing out from the back, which was their undoing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of those ones, had PSV managed to score first, you can imagine they're a team that are really nice to watch, huge confidence, but it dipped at various points in the game, and when it dipped, Newcastle were there and ready for them and took massively good advantage. And again, Newcastle haven't had a massive amount of chances, have they?
No.
But they've scored a good bunch of them. I mean, 3 of them. There's only maybe 2 other chances, 2 or 3, but not that many clear-cut ones. And that's about quality in the final third. And I suppose in the end, that's what tells the very best ones away for the ones that are just pretty good.
Free kick for PSV Eindhoven, which they're going to take midway through the Newcastle half on the right-hand side. Newcastle's defensive line is on the edge of the penalty area. The German referee has just had a word, I think was it with, might have been Tonali. It's going to be taken by Veerman. In it comes now, rather flat delivery, headed away by Miley, headed back, and then actually inside the area, just trying to stick a leg out at that, I think was Sildilia, but it went straight through towards Pope. Full time in the Championship at Vicarage Road. Andy Stevenson.
Portsmouth creep out of the relegation zone with a 1-1 draw at Watford. Adrian Segacic side-footed Pompey ahead midway through the second half, but minutes later goalkeeper Nicholas Schmidt spilled a simple-looking cross and Moussa Doumbia slotted home an equaliser. Watford 1, Portsmouth 1.
And Watford climb a place as well. They're now a point behind Preston North End, just outside the playoff positions. Remember, an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. Stoke City 1, Middlesbrough 2 remains the latest score. In the Champions League here on 5 Live, Newcastle United playing from left to right. Back it goes towards Chow. I don't think the support from the Newcastle supporters it's been relentless tonight.
No, they love it. They love being in the Champions League. Remember, there's long years where it was difficult for Newcastle United fans, and there was real problems with the ownership. There was real disaffection, but they kept on coming. They kept on coming in huge numbers because they always believed they could get back to the top table, and this is it, top table. And they just, they're feasting on it, aren't they? They love it. They enjoy every minute of it, and that's the way it is. There are some clubs sometimes you think they take Champions League for granted. That doesn't happen here, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. Only their 4th campaign in the Champions League proper. Atalanta have got a goal back, incidentally. Atalanta 2, Athletic Bilbao 3. What's the latest in Marseille? John Akers.
It's Marseille 0, Liverpool 2, and comfortable at the moment with 5 minutes to go, Liverpool, but perhaps it should have been 3. Mo Salah through, he was just the goalkeeper to beat, tried it with the outside of his left foot and skewed it horribly wide. Quite a bad miss. Marseille 0, Liverpool 2.
And they are at home to Karabakh next week, so Arne Slot, I'm sure, would hope at Anfield that would be give them enough of a backing to secure and to hold on to that top 8 finish. That's what everybody wants. Newcastle United have given themselves a chance of that as well, although their task is somewhat harder, to go away to Paris Saint-Germain next week, but they're leading here 3-0. But as Pat Nevin quite rightly said at the start of the night, they just had to focus on tonight and get the job done here this evening, and that they have done. Here is Shout in the midfield, midway through the Newcastle half. Varner then gives the ball to Driouche. On this near side, Dutch forward comes alongside into a central area and goes for a curling effort, right-footed. It was off target, probably a foot wide of the right-hand post, out for a goal kick. Newcastle still lead 3-0.
I don't think there's any doubt that Pope had that covered, but at least there was an effort there towards us, not the goal, but not on goal. But it has been comfortable now. In 10 minutes or so, and they've managed it really well. They've got a chance now to take Kieran Trippier off, give him a little bit of a rest, which is good news. You always think of the work rate of those attackers, the effort they're going, but listen to this reaction you're getting for Kieran Trippier. The fans really recognise what he's done tonight.
He's a great pro. He's 35 years of age, Kieran Trippier, but he's now started in 3 of the last 4 games. And his experience, that know-how, when we're talking the first half when they were temporarily down to 10 men and he got everybody in just to squeeze in and be compact and tight. Forever thinking, such a valuable player to have in a dressing room.
Do you know how a lot of the times when players of a certain age, you get a bit miffed when they're left out, and his attitude has looked perfect recently. It's difficult times when you realise you probably might not be number 1 choice all the time, and Livramento come in and etc. looking very good. But he's been exceptional tonight, not only as a player but working out very hard, and just looking who he's been replaced by. Miley has gone and played at right back.
Yeah.
Giving Willock a chance to play in midfield.
So we saw Miley last week, didn't we, playing in that position against Manchester City. Willock comes into the midfield, and such is his versatility. The young man drops in at right back to see out the closing minutes. 3 minutes remain of normal time, and Newcastle United leading PSV by 3-0. Newcastle still very much in control, as are Liverpool against Marseille, 2-0 up there in the south of France, and Chelsea have a slender lead 1-0 against Paphos. We will have reflections, try and bring you the reaction. We're on air until 10:30. If not, the 5 Live Football Daily Pod will be the place to hear the thoughts of the respective managers of the 3 winning English sides tonight. And don't forget, Champions League highlights on Match of the Day, BBC One at 10:40 tonight. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, ball played up there to Voltemada. Both players were ripping the shirt off each other, and the referee just looked and said, yeah, both of you are at it, no foul, carry on. Like that.
Here is Baraktarovic. Mauro Jr. holds it off to Baraktarovic, but then he loses out-muscled by Ramsey. His forward ball goes behind Elanga and allows Obispo just to step forward out of defence. The ball then passed by Baraktarovic to Driouche on this near side, goes on the outside of Miley, but Miley stands tall. Last touch came off Driouche, and it will be a goal kick. And listen to the applause again for young Lewis Miley.
There was a period where he was getting a bit of stick from some Newcastle fans, and I utterly and completely beyond me. Okay, you're going to have ups and downs if you're a young player coming in. They know now, they get it now, they know the quality he's got. Stick the guy at right back. And he played it with the Docker he played against the other day. You're playing against some of the best players out wide there, totally out of position. It looks as if he's played there all his life, all his very young life, that is. No, very, very good play there by young Lewis Miley, again.
Yes, he's certainly catching the eye, is the 19-year-old.
We had a conversation with talking about to Eddie, and I was going through commentary last year. See if the World Cup was next year. I think Miley might be in the reckoning. He is capable of doing that good. And I think others think he may actually do it this year. I think it's going to be too early for him, but no, he's a real talent.
But the fact that he can fill in at right back, that versatility is just another addition to his armoury, isn't it?
Yep.
He keeps the ball in play on this near side to Elanga, and Elanga gets away from Flamingo, running at the heart of the PSV defence. Out towards Miley. Miley with a cross deep into the penalty area, bounces away off the knee of Barnes and out for a goal kick. And Newcastle with a 90 minutes up lead by 3-0, and we will find out how much added time there will be. And there'll be 4 minutes, Pat Nevin.
They'll look very good in this right hand side all the way through the second half. Got the ball down to dangerous areas regularly. There's good understanding between the players over here, and they've changed them around as the games went on, but sometimes they look better left. Now, I mentioned earlier on I prefer Barnes on the left. He's gone to the left. He's hardly had the kick of the ball since he's gone there. But on the right-hand side, Langa's looked really sharp since he's come on, and Trippier was good at right back, and as I say, Miley just looked like a class act there now.
Elanga picks up the ball, brought down. That was cynical by Veerman, and he'll get a yellow card here, I would have thought, the Dutch international.
He's been a wee bit arrogant towards the referee, Veerman, as if to say, why am I getting a yellow card for that? Because when you look up the rule book for a yellow card, that tackle is shown in the rule book. It's the most blatant yellow card you'll ever see, mate.
Fenerbahce have actually offered to activate his release clause, which is 20 million euros, but for the time being he remains at PSV. Chelsea have beaten Paphos by 1-0. Atalanta 2, Athletic Club 3. So Athletic Bilbao with that big win, only their second win in Bergamo, and Juventus have beaten Benfica 2-0 elsewhere in the Champions League. Liverpool lead 2-0, that's the latest still.
I'd be intrigued to know the reaction of the fans at Stamford Bridge at the end of that game, 1-0. I'm sure we'll be told.
Well, there's been another goal in Marseille. John Akers.
Liverpool have wrapped it up. Marseille 0, Liverpool 3 in stoppage time. Only 45 seconds remaining, and off the substitutes bench, unmarked, right foot, cool as you like, about 15 yards out. Cody Gakpo fires it into the far corner. It's been a really good night for Liverpool. Marseille 0, Liverpool 3.
That is an impressive result for Liverpool. 3-0 winners then it will be in Marseille. Chelsea have beaten Paphos by 1-0. as here a yellow card is going to be shown to Sildilia for kicking the ball away.
Well, no, he kicked the player as well before he kicked the ball away, so he was going to get it for either of them. But there's a real frustration with PSV players. In the end, they've hardly laid a glove, you know. And they're a team that came here, although they had before the game, they felt they were slight underdogs. They felt as if they could get something. They've scored a lot of goals in this competition. Remember, the 4 goals they scored against Liverpool. Well, Liverpool went through a difficult time, but they really haven't laid a glove in this Newcastle side, which really plays Eddie Howe.
Tonali then waits to take the free kick on that far side, attacking the Gallagate end, just in from the left touch line. Tonali's in swinging free kick. Botman rises, cleared before Ramsey could react to it. By my watch, we're about to enter the last 60 seconds as Bayraktarovic picks it up and releases the ball through the middle, out towards Driouche on this near side, but he won't keep the ball in play. And for all the talk about PSV, they've been quite disappointing, really.
No, they had the stuffing knocked out of them. You've partially their own fault, partially for good planning by Newcastle United. And it's hard when you're playing away from home and you go 2 goals down. And you think, well, wait a minute, we're only following instructions here. But, you know, we've taken too many chances against a team that's got real quality up front. And I don't actually think PSV in the end, if you look over the entire 90, have done themselves justice tonight. And that's because against a team that have been a wee bit too mature for them.
Yep, Newcastle leading 3-0. Bayern Munich have beaten Union Saint-Gilloise by 2-0 with those goals from Harry Kane, so they move second. Arsenal, remember, are the only side with a 100% winning record in this league phase. 7 out of 7. There's Barnes on the score sheet already. He got that 3rd goal, which really has allowed Newcastle time to breathe in this tie, and the cross comes in from the left and it drops out for a goal kick. But you've got Arsenal, you've got Tottenham, you've got Liverpool, you've got Newcastle and Chelsea. 5 sides from the Premier League, all in the top 8 as the cameras are trained on Eddie Howe. And there indeed is the full-time whistle. And Newcastle, a deserved win, beating PSV, the Dutch champions, by 3-0. They were guilty of playing out from the back and they were punished in the first half. Whisper after 8 minutes, Gordon with a tap-in on the half hour, and then a fine goal from Harvey Barnes after 65 minutes. 3-0 and an excellent win for Newcastle United, Pat.
This could have been a very, very tricky tie. In the end, it was very, very simple. You know, did all the right things, real maturity to the play, a real number of good performances, but the fact that they've got a clean sheet as well, with that back 4 that's been cobbled together, really. They didn't look as if they're under any stress at any point in the game. Eddie Howe was allowed to make a few changes as the game went on, rest a few players as well, and even Newcastle had the game management to slow it down about large parts of that second half, so leave a little bit of energy for what is an incredibly tough little run they've got over the next 5 or 6 games.